Well, good sunny afternoon to you. This is your Barefoot Country Cook, and this is some gardening tips to go along with the food I prepare. I also have a garden. Uh, Got to have a good pair of gardening gloves, and I got mine. And today I planted some sugar snap peas because I have a wok, and I love to do some stir frying in my wok. And there's a couple of tools that every gardener should have. And you don't have to have a big plot of dirt to have a garden. This isn't a big plot of dirt. Some people think it is. I just took over the flower bed. This flower bed is about 10 feet wide by about 30 feet long. I think I measured it's like 28. And this little gadget here, this claw, this garden claw, this thing is really cool. If you have hard dirt, and this Georgia red clay is some hard stuff, if you don't have a tiller to start off with, get one of these little guys. They don't cost much. It's adjustable. It's height adjustable. So if you're short or tall or whatever, there's 4 different settings on here. You just move the bolts and you just literally stick it in the dirt and you go back and forth. You get some exercise with your arms. Maybe this will help with my bat wings I got going on here, because I'm just an old girl, old country girl. So that will take this hard dirt and literally loosen it right up, just like that. So once you loosen your dirt up, you take a nice leaf rake. You can use a leaf rake or you can use a regular garden rake. And I don't have that out here because I'm not at that stage. But you can even go down like with it and just break up the big chunks. Because the more loose it is, the better your plants are going to grow. They won't have to fight through the hard dirt or the hard red clay. If you are doing a garden for the first time and you live in a house, a separate home like that, and you're doing it, like I did, I took part of my flower garden over. When they build homes, they take away all the topsoil, and what's in your topsoil is all of your nutrients. It's all the good stuff that plants grow by. Well, they take the topsoil out, they resell it, and then they build the house on top of the sublevel dirt. Get some topsoil. I have put in this particular vegetable garden this year 24 bags of topsoil, because every other year it's always good to re-nourish your soil, because after a year's worth of rain, by the time you get to your second year, the rains wash some of the nutrients out of whatever you had, because that's just how it works. It runs off. This is level, but it's also comes to an edge and then slopes, and so some of those good nutrients are going to wash away. The other thing you want to get, and if you don't have a cow, you need about at least 1 or 2 bags of cow manure. Mix it in with that topsoil, and you want to mix all that dirt up. You want to get a big, this is a small shovel. This is what I use for planting the actual plant from pot to the garden. This is really handy. I love these things. It makes the perfect hole, just like that. And you take your plant out of the pot. You first put some water in the hole, because you want your plant from the store to have a nice drink. You want to have to give a good start. And when you're doing it in the daytime like this, the sun's kind of beating down, you want it to be able to drink something so it doesn't get wilted. Don't worry that if your plants wilt when you first plant them. That's normal. It's kind of like a plant shock, but they get over it as soon as the sun goes down. Give them a good soaking. Soak them really good. Especially if you're getting them from a place, and you can see in that little cup that they plant them in that the roots are everywhere. All you see is roots. That's root bound. So before you put them in that water in the hole, break up those roots just a little bit with your fingers, just loosen them up, and then put it in that nice little drink of water. Now there is one thing that I swear by, and this is Expert Gardener. It's a tomato and vegetable garden fertilizer. It's actually a vegetable garden food. So that if you have a soil that you haven't tested, I haven't tested this soil, I haven't really had to, but I'm going to get a testing kit just to see how on point I am, because I always have a good crop. But I always use this plant food, and it's especially good for tomatoes. Last year I forgot. I was counting on what I had done the year before, and my tomatoes did not produce so well. But this year they're going to do some good work. I've got my tomatoes right here. I've got the Roma tomatoes. I planted them. Now when you plant a tomato, you get the tomato, it comes in a pot about this big, right? and the plant is like this tall above it. Whatever you do, don't plant it just so that the pot fits level with your dirt. The way you get a good crop of tomatoes is you take that tomato plant and half of it goes under the dirt, including the leaves. I know you're going to think that's crazy, but what it does is it forces the plant to create a root system from those lower leaves and that lower part of the stem. And then you get a thick stem on a tomato plant, about an inch, sometimes bigger, and you get twice as many tomatoes. They're big and plump, and you can't go wrong doing it that way. That's how I plant my tomatoes. I put them under the dirt, and they've already popped up about 3 inches since I put them in here. I have planted some sugar snap peas for the first time, and read the back of the seed packet really careful, because it'll give you little clues as to what the plant likes and what it doesn't like. Well, this is my first time doing sugar snap peas, so I hope in a couple months that I will be able to share those with you, because it takes a while for them to germinate. And since I have this metal mesh fence keeping my rosemary separate from my garden area, the rosemary's keep the deer out, by the way, and it does a beautiful job. I don't have to worry about deer anymore. But I put the fence behind it because it likes to spread out. There goes my tomato. So I put the fencing behind it to keep it kind of, straight. And the deer can't get past it, and they won't come past it anyway because they don't like the smell. So I don't have to have that fence, but I'm planting sugar snap peas for the first time, and they are a vine. They're a climbing bean. And these tomato cages that people have, and I've got this old rusty one here. Let's pull that out of there. This is a tomato cage. A lot of people swear by these things, put them over their tomatoes. I don't know why. It inhibits the tomato's ability to branch out. I think they do it because they don't want it falling over. I've gotten some of my best tomatoes from tomato plants that fell over, and that's not a lie. Now, this is a cheap one. It's not very well made. There's others that would do better for those of you. If you do want to use a tomato cage, get the one, not the one that has a little narrow bottom like this. Get the ones that have a big one on the bottom, a bigger one. The one that has the more expensive ones, obviously, and they're coated. I have two behind the camera there that are coated. And this is what I'm going to try to train up some of the sugar snap peas on as a trellis. So if you want to do sugar snap peas, you can do a trellis. You can just take a piece of chicken wire, put a pole there, string up the chicken wire, plant your sugar snap peas below it, and just keep an eye on your garden, make sure that it's got water. This is planting season, and this is the time for all of us barefoot cooks to get our good old homegrown veggies going, and that's what I'm doing, and I wanted to share that with you. If you've liked any of the information you've received on this video, please give me a comment, let me know. Ask me any kind of questions. Yes, I did plant watermelons. They take a while, so they are on a nice big mound. There's certain plants you can't plant on flat ground. You have to know that too. Any gardening questions, throw them my way. I've been doing this since as long as I can remember. I used to help my mom with her 3/4 acre garden, and she grew everything all the way down to horseradish root. So I've got peppers, I got poblanos, I got bell peppers, banana peppers, I've got yellow squash going, and I think I have cucumbers here somewhere. But I know I have this sugar snap peas. I've even got cabbage this year. First time ever doing cabbage. So I'm hoping to show you all how to do homemade sauerkraut, and also coleslaw. It's summertime, you gotta have coleslaw, right? So by June, I should have some cabbage. I've got a couple of raised boxes, a couple of galvanized tins. They're kind of decorative. I like that, and if I want to move them around for next year, I can. The thing with those is you got to drill holes in the bottom for drainage. I've got my holes drilled in the bottom, and I may have to get crafty and paint something on them to make them look really cute to kind of brighten up the garden. That's a tropical flower plant. I don't even know what it is over there. It was here when I got here. So please leave me a comment. Give me a thumbs up if you'd like this video, if you'd like to see more like this. This is kind of behind the scenes of what I do when I do my barefoot country cooking. And then, of course, share it. Definitely subscribe. I am looking forward to showing you what comes out of this garden this year so I can cook it for you.